Kyle,
Finesse.
it's nice to have you on here, man. So you've just came home from Iceland. What was that like?
Brother, Iceland was the best experience of my life, and I really hope that
Really?
anyone gets a chance to go there. I went there for 13 days with my best friends. We started off the trip in vans together. We drove across the entire country, and then the other half of the trip, we went into the city and we got to experience the city lifestyle. So it was cool. We got like the best of both worlds.
Hmm.
Yeah, beautiful place. Way nicer than New Jersey. New Jersey has a bunch of nice things, but when it
Hmm.
comes to like a scenic route, I much rather choose Iceland.
Hmm. Interesting. How were the people there?
How are the people there? You know what? It's interesting. As a foreigner, I got a lot of stares. I think just because people have like people classify Americans as
Hmm.
like loud and obnoxious and apparently stupid,
Hmm.
which is the farthest from the truth from me. But the people were relatively nice. I mean, I learned that they were very closed off, but once you get to like learn them and you're more familiar with them, they open up to you and they're some of the nicest people that I've
Hmm.
ever met. But they're very quiet, they're very closed off. They're kind of just doing their own thing and they're in their own lane.
Hmm.
But way
Interesting.
way less like way less loud.
Hmm. What was like some other like cool places that you visited?
Like specifically speaking from the trip or just like in general?
In general, like other countries that you really like.
So this is like the first time that I ever left the country. Yeah, so it was really nice
Hmm.
to be able to go there. Haven't really traveled much my entire life, which is why I told myself like, yo,
Hmm.
you have to go out, you have to explore more. There's so much more to see. I always just thought that, growing up, your parents in society tell you to save your money, um,
Hmm.
and invest it into this, invest it into that. Like you're not supposed to spend your money, especially when you're
Yeah.
young. You need to be smart. But that's like the farthest thing from the truth
Hmm.
ever. Because what if tomorrow isn't promised? Like, what if you
Yeah.
have all this money left in your bank account, and like you're just not here?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that traveling is one of the biggest return on investments that anyone can provide for themselves. And yeah, I mean, like I said, to really answer what you said, I really haven't traveled much. I've really only stayed like in the States. So it was
Hmm.
pretty monumental for me to be able to like do that for myself and travel the world with my best friends, but also at the same time like being able to do what I love while being there too, you know? It
Yeah.
just felt like a dream come true. Seriously, it felt like a dream. It felt like I was
Yeah.
experiencing a dream. It's cool.
Interesting. Yeah, that's cool, man. So before we get into the other questions, how would you introduce yourself for someone who may not know you?
Yeah, of course. So if anyone's out there watching this video and you aren't familiar with me,
Hmm.
it's so nice to meet you guys. My name is Kyle Maffey. My name is Kyle Massey. I'm an online fitness and mental health coach. I have a huge passion for everything involving self improvement, holistic health, holistic nutrition, training, mindset, stoicism, philosophy. I just love showing people that they can take this life much farther than they think if they just believe in themselves. But
Hmm.
at my core, I'm just a guy that loves making people feel good and I love making videos about it. So yeah, that's me.
So before we get into other questions, let's start from the beginning. What was your like childhood like? Where did you grow up?
Yeah, so most of my life I've always just been in New Jersey.
Hmm?
Again, like I said, haven't really traveled too much. And as I reflect, I now understand why I crave just excitement so much more. But yeah, like my childhood was difficult, just like everyone else's. Like we all go through things, we go through our ups and we go through our downs. But I experienced a lot of difficult situations in terms of like my personal life with like my father not being there and having to step up at an early age as like the father figure for my younger brother. My mother's a single mother. She raised me and my younger brother completely on her own. And it was tough, man. Like it was really tough seeing her struggle as much as she did, but she's a warrior, she's a superhero. She she bulldogged it through. And I feel like that's why I have such a burning desire now to be able to help people, especially like young men,
Mm-hmm.
be better, is because like I never had that father figure in my
Mm,
life that like I looked up to. So like I just want to be that person for a bunch of young men, and not even
yeah.
just young men, like women, young females too, like if they're experiencing the same thing. So yeah, had a really difficult upbringing, really difficult childhood, but if I didn't experience and go through everything that I went through, I would not be who I am today. I would not be where I'm at today. I would not be taking the route that I am today. And I am beyond thankful and grateful to have went through everything that I went through because it really only made me that much stronger. Like
That's
all of
awesome.
us, you know? Like all of
Yeah.
us, not just me.
I feel like yeah, you got a lot of like moments, you not even in your childhood, but even in your teenage years that kind of like shape you a little bit and that kind of prepare you for the adult life, for example. Um,
Mhm.
but I wanted to ask you, what's one childhood memory that makes you smile?
One childhood memory that makes me smile. Oh man, there's so many. There's a bunch. Um, Childhood memory that makes me smile. Probably getting into trouble with the neighborhood kids. Like honestly, then like not getting into trouble like a bad way, but like
Mm,
in my neighborhood, like ding dong ditching was super
yeah.
popular. And we were just so bored and had nothing to do. So
Yeah.
I vividly remember this one time, my best friend Eric, who we call Pinhead from like the episode of SpongeBob, just because like his like face looks like Patrick from like in that episode. Horrible nickname, by the way. It was like it was like the middle of January. It was absolutely freezing outside, and we were just like so bored. So we are like, "Yo, let's go ding dong ditching." And
Mm,
he's the kid in the friend group that was an instigator, but would
mm,
never actually do the dirty work himself,
ah,
right? So like he would tag along and like
yeah.
be, you know, like get into trouble with us, but like he wouldn't do any of like the trouble. He would just be along. So a bunch of us were like, "Yo, bro, it's like your time to like hit a house. It's your time to ding dong ditch a house because you're just not doing anything." This man would like
Yep.
come with us. We'd go up to the house, and while we're walking up to the house, he'd be like sprinting away. Like he wasn't trying to be involved in
Mm,
any of that, but he just wanted to be around it. So there's this one moment where all of us were like, bro, like you need to like get your reps in, like you need to ding dong ditch a house. And there was one house where he couldn't see inside, but we saw inside, and we like strategically planned this specific house because they always sat in their living room, and we knew that they were there while he was walking up the
mm.
front door, but like he had no clue. So he went up to the front door and like he ding dong ditched the house, and like they just looked at him the entire time while he was doing it, and it was just the funniest thing ever. So they opened the door, like started like freaking out on him. He was so scared. He ran down like the steps on the driveway, like the pavement was like full of
Mm.
black ice, and he slipped and fell and like smashed his head. Not in a bad way, but like he like hit his head like on the tire
Ah.
somehow of the car, while these people were just like watching him the entire time. And like yeah, it was kind of a fucked up story, but like that's
Ah.
my guy, and it was just like just stupid moments like that
Yeah.
where like you're just like you just don't know any better, and you just like want to have a good time with your friends.
Yeah. I feel like Ding Dong Ditching is something so international that we all did in our childhood. Even me from Central Europe, even we did that in
Yeah, yeah,
our
yeah, yeah.
childhood. Yeah.
No, there's something like so exciting about like doing
Yeah.
that. when like you know you're not supposed to. And we were so bored that we would do it in the daylight. Like, have you ever heard of sardines?
No, I got no idea what that is.
So like it's essentially the same thing as ding dong ditch, but like you would go in the person's front yard and just like lay there and not move.
What the fuck?
And like
Why?
no, I know like whoever like left first was like the loser. So like these
No.
people would be like they'd answer the door and you're just like on the ground, just like laying there like a sardine in their grass. And we would do that in the daytime because we were just like so bored. But that was also so funny too. Just stupid stuff, man.
Mm.
Like when you're young and you don't have anything to do, you and your
Yeah.
friends just make shit up.
Yeah. I feel
You
like
know?
that's kind of like something that makes you more like a human. Like when you go in the forest and you
Yes,
take a leaf,
yes,
you pick a leaf and you just play with the fucking leaf, pick at it. That's like I feel like
yeah.
a lot of adults don't jump over puddles, climb trees as adults because that's childish. I feel like that's something that how can you be depressed when you're climbing a tree, right?
I
I'm not.
agree. Or you know what, man? Or just like smiling at another person when you walk by.
mm,
That's something that
yeah.
I noticed a lot of too. Like when I was in Iceland, I made it an intention of mine just to try to be the most positive, outgoing
Mm,
person that I could be. Because
yeah.
you never know what someone's going through, and if you give someone a smile and they like look at you, oftentimes
Mm,
it's reciprocated, and you can like actually see the pain like start to heal from that person's face just
mm,
by giving someone a smile. And I think that everyone has something to teach you, and if you were to go about your life with every interaction that you have and see them as a potential teacher, you can
mm.
become the most intelligent person on this planet. You know, like the person at the
yeah.
coffee shop that you're not acknowledging because you're too much
Mm,
in your head, they could possibly change your life and tell you one thing that sparked everything for you in your
yeah.
your your journey.
Hmm. I feel like also a lot of kids like nowadays are like I mean, yeah, I think it's kind of a good thing like trying to be this fucking 13 or 14-year-old business. I feel like I literally see like 15-year old guys
It's
making
crazy. They're
10K a
not even
month.
experiencing childhood.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
It's crazy.
retiring your parents at 15 is cool. But it's like also at some point it's like at 13 and 14, I still feel like okay, if you want to spend a couple of hours on I don't know making YouTube videos, that's cool. But also like just be a kid. Just go ride your bicycle or something, without your phone.
Yeah,
That's like the coolest thing. I see like literally
yeah,
12-year-old guys with AirPods in, and I'm like fucking hell, bro.
yeah. It's because they're just being fed this
Mm,
false life. They're being fed this false way of
yeah,
living. And that's why depression rates are at an all-time high right now,
yeah,
and unfortunately, like suicide rates as well,
mm,
because people, it's just a false way of living, and it's all comparison, and comparison is the thief of joy.
mm,
People were so much happier back then,
yeah,
just living off grid, not having a phone, just like going to your friend's house and knocking on a door.
yeah. We
Like connection was so much more meaningful. Now
mm,
it's like people just take things so much for granted. We have this cell phone. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse because technology is so advanced, and I'm thankful for it. But like if you wanted to hang out with your friend, people would have to like go into their car or take the train or ride their bicycle like 30 minutes away
mm.
and like knock on the door, not knowing if they're going to answer. But now we have this cell phone that is so easily accessible. You can just grab it and just press a button, and you just expect someone to answer. And then if they don't answer, you
yeah.
become frustrated. It's like interesting times, man. I would much rather a young man or like a young girl live their
Yeah.
childhood and have fun and just like you said, just enjoy being a kid. Because even if like I'm very like I'm very intentional when I reflect on the past because I believe
Mm,
that it can be to our detriment and people just like live in the
mm,
past. And you need to be very careful with that. But like reminiscing on great moments, I think that's fine. And like when I reflect back, like I had the best childhood ever because of like the neighborhood kids that I hung around.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't change that for the world.
Mm.
I would much rather live that dreamlike life where there was no problems versus try to make my first like $100, or or try to make my first thousand, or try to like be determined to retire my mom.
Mm.
Because it's gonna happen if you want to do it or not.
Yep.
So like just enjoy being a kid, because you don't get to go back to that age. You
Yep.
can always make money, you can
Yep.
always take care of people, but that moment is not always there.
Yeah, and you see, also, like when you're 12, you think that, oh, until I turn 18, it's gonna be 6 years. That's gonna take so much time. First of all, right now, 6 years seems like a really long time because it's 50% of your life. So like
Mhm.
6 years, like literally, like seems like a long time. But when you're like fucking 30, and then 6 years is way less. I don't know what percentage of your life. It's like to a 5 year old, 1 year takes a lifetime. To a 30-year-old, 1 year takes like nothing. So
Yeah.
they can't wait to grow up, and that was me, obviously. And I'm like 17, 18 is right around the corner, and I'm like kind of looking forward to it. I'm turning 18 in 5 months from now. And it's also like fucking hell. I kind of wish like me at 14 was more like was playing less video games and being more
Mhm.
outside, because I was stopped doing that at like 12, like 13. I'm like fucking
Mhm.
hell. I kind of regret that, if I'm being honest. I wanted to
And
ask
that's
you.
okay to regret that, bro.
Mm, yeah. I wanted to ask you something. Who did you look up to as a kid?
Um, so when I was growing up, I swore that I was going to be like a Major League Baseball player.
Mm,
That was like my first ever passion. I'm the Yankees fan at heart. There's a
mm,
baseball player, his name's Derek Jeter. He was a shortstop for the Yankees, and he was just like everyone's role model, man. Like just the perfect guy. Um, just lived righteously, the hardest worker in the room. He was very clean, well put together, man. He was very proper.
yeah.
Like my first ever role model, hands down, was Derek Jeter. I wanted to be him. That's why I played shortstop. I wore his number, and I tried just to like I tried just to be him, but in my own way.
Mm,
So I say Derek Jeter for sure.
interesting. So let's get into further years. At what age did you start going to the gym? Did you first like start like, at what age were you first went into a gym? That's what.
Like when did I first? Oh, like when did I first start taking the gym seriously, or when did I first get into a gym?
Firstly, when did you first start going to the gym? Like first
Oh,
stepping
okay,
down.
yeah. Well, I always played sports in high school and middle school, so I
Mm.
was introduced to the gym at a very early age. I'd say like
Mm.
seventh grade, eighth grade. And that's when I started taking the gym like really seriously, ninth grade.
Hmm.
But as I say that, it's different because like how I take the gym now versus how I took the gym then are like two completely different things, like being a
Yeah.
bodybuilder and a coach, completely different. But I loved the gym from a very early age, and I always knew that that was something that I
Mm.
wanted to do for the rest of my life somehow, some way. I just loved pushing myself physically in the gym. Like
Mm.
that's something that I know that I can do more than others,
Mm.
is like if I'm doing something physically, I will push myself harder than the next person. But yeah, in the gym, I would ride my bike there, man, because I had no way of getting there. I'd ride my bike like 45 minutes to like the LA Fitness,
That's some good
and I had
cardio.
no. It is great cardio, but then you go and train and you're tired as shit, and like you're
Yeah.
wondering why, like why you're not getting stronger. It's because you just depleted yourself on this
Mm.
45-minute trek. Um, but yeah, then once I got into high school, my senior year, that's when I discovered like I don't know if you know who David Late is, but like he's
Yeah.
like the OG, like OG, like
Yeah.
of all the
Yo.
fitness industry, bro. I discovered David Lade, I discovered Ziz, I discovered Jeff Side,
Yeah.
and I was just like, dude, I want to be like these guys, but in my
Yeah.
own way. And then that's when I started started taking it really seriously. It's because like you see someone who's doing it, you're like, oh shit, like this person's really no different than me. They're just another person that just like said I'm gonna do it. Um, but I'd say once I discovered David Lade, that's when I was like, yo, it's time to turn up. It's time to turn up.
That's interesting. So, what were some like the biggest mistakes you were making in the beginning of like getting into fitness? You know, or like it was a diet?
Ooh.
Was it like in terms of
Yeah, it was
training?
diet
Hmm.
100%. We have this misconception, especially as a skinny young kid, you think that you need to eat everything in sight and that like the dirty bulk is the way to go. I can't gain weight for the life of me. But as you get older, you realize that that is farther from like that's so far from the
Mm,
truth. I'd say nutrition, man. My nutrition was
mm,
horrible. I would just eat anything in sight. I
yeah.
only cared about calories. I, it could be Twinkies. It would be pizza. It would be bullshit. I was putting anything
Mm,
into my body just to try to get stronger. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it like worked. And I do think
mm,
that there's a time and place. Like I always say this. I think that you need to build a foundation and you need to allow the body to learn how to eat.
yep.
Because if you want to grow, you need to eat. You need to be in a surplus. That's just
Mm,
facts. That's just how it is. And so I think that like that starting point is kind of inevitable for
mm,
most of us just starting out in the gym if you're not introduced by someone who can show you the way. Like, for example, I have my younger brother who's 14,
yep.
and how I'm teaching him is through all my failures. So I'm like, yo, you're not gonna dirty bulk. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna eat this. You're gonna fuel
Mm,
yourself with this. You're gonna focus on your compound lifts, progressive overload. Like you're gonna have like structure. You're gonna have like an idea of what you're actually doing instead of just
mm,
aimlessly walking around navigating this gym life. Because there's a lot of information out there. You don't know what to do, and you see yourself in the mirror as like this man who doesn't have muscles, so you just think that you need to
mm,
eat and train as much as possible. Again, training as much as possible is farther from the truth. Like you should be training less and focusing more on recovery, especially if you want to get stronger.
yep.
So my nutrition was completely off, but I'm like it's all good. Like I would not have been where I am right now if I did not go through that dirty bulk phase, if I did not look like shit, if I did not eat like shit. You know, now I know how to fuel myself properly.
Mm,
Same thing with training. I was very egotistical, and I know that a lot of the
mm.
younger guys are as well. Like you think that if you don't go to the gym every day, then like you're not working hard. False. False. You know, it's about the quality. It's not about the quantity. It's about the quality. If you
Mm,
go to the gym and you are fucking so focused when you're there, you're giving it your absolute all. One day of that versus 3 to 4 days of bullshit will triumph all those 3 to 4 days every single day of the week.
hmm.
Every day of the week.
Yeah, I did a mistake last year. To be honest, I was like on 86 kilos, which is like 195 pounds, and like this year I cut it down to 68, which is like 150, 160 kilos, like 30, 40 pounds. I cut it down. But bro, like for the first time when I saw my six pack for the first time in my life, that's like the best feeling. I think that may be even better than making 10K the first month. I think that seeing
Yeah.
your first six pack for the first time is like the best feeling in the world.
Six or 225 bench. I don't
Yeah.
know, man. 225 flat bench for the first time was like a
Huh.
huge monumental moment for me,
I
bro.
haven't hit that
That
yet.
was like I could walk out of the gym and not go there ever again, and I'd be the happiest man alive. That was such an amazing feeling. I mean, dog shit form, bar slanted like this. You don't know
Yeah.
what you're doing. You like bounce it off your chest, but you still get it up. You know, you still get
Yeah.
it up.
Oh, fucking
But
hell.
yo, I'm sure that you probably feel so much better now being lighter. You know, like
Yo.
less brain fog. You're more
Yep.
confident in yourself. You're more put together. Like
Like.
maturing in the gym is realizing that how you look correlates to how you feel.
Yeah,
And when you feel better, that's when a lot of things start changing.
yeah. So like 40 pounds difference. That's a big difference.
Huge
But
difference.
like fucking hell, like the way I would wake up and my lower back would start hurting because I was powerlifter. So I was deadlifting
Of course.
three to four times a no 3 times a week, two
Yeah.
times conventional, one time sumo, and so
Horrible.
yeah, and I was like squatting twice a week too, every single leg
Horrible.
day, and I was like literally I was doing zero hypertrophy training because I was even competing in powerlifting for
Yeah.
like 15, 16. So it was like, man, this shit I would be eating, like I would literally, I'm not bullshitting you, I would order two pizzas and I'd eat them all within like in 40 minutes. I'd eat two big pizzas for
And
dinner.
think that that's normal.
Yeah, and then I'll take so many shitty pre-workouts with sugar and
Yeah.
bullshit,
Yeah.
and and then fucking hell, the milkshake with fucking
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
the 3,000 calorie milkshake, you're like trying to
yeah,
drink it and it's like so
yeah,
thick you can't even get it down. Oh man, dude, I've been there. But then like
yeah,
your gut is fucked up, your
yeah,
brain is fucked up, your
yeah,
face looks horrible. You got this beer belly
yeah, I
and like
did.
you think that it's cool because you're strong and you're getting heavier, but like girls don't
Yeah,
actually like that, bro.
yeah,
Girls want a
like
nice chiseled guy. They want like a guy that has a nice jawline, a
yeah,
guy that's lean, fit, he can move. Like
yeah,
no bodybuilders or power like not many bodybuilders and powerlifters can
mm.
like move, can like they don't functional
Yeah,
train.
exactly. I was not
Yeah.
even stretching at all, and I was like,
Yeah, I
I
know. You
I
just want
was
to go
going,
into the gym, pick some heavy ass weight, and fucking
yeah.
plummet it.
I was going to the gym for like a year and a half, and I was lifting some good weights for my body weight at the time, but I was like, I barely looked like I had just a little bit of muscle, but you couldn't even tell like I was like training for a while, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, also,
Horrible feeling. Horrible
yeah,
feeling.
I had zero jawline, and
Yeah.
okay, the main thing when I started like realizing, okay, people see me as more attractive now. It's when I get approached at the gym from a girl. That's like the first time I was like, okay, you know what? I can look at myself back then objectively with all the acne from the shitty food I was eating,
Oh my god, yeah.
and like literally, like I can just look at it and see, okay, that was an ugly motherfucker, and I could just tell even like, uh, and even by the way I was speaking, because that's when I started recording on Rumble, like a year ago, my
Yeah.
first video. Bro, I was stuttering. I was like saying, and I had like,
Because you can't think. You can't
yeah,
think
yeah,
correctly.
exactly. My
You
brain
you
was
have you have
slow.
brain fog. Yeah, you have brain fog.
Yeah, like
And you know
literally.
what's crazy too? All of those guys, then okay, I'm not saying all of those guys. It's never all. But like most of the people from my experience that are in that position, like they think that they're attractive and they think that they can pull any girl and that like what they're
Mm.
doing is like correct and it's like farther from the truth, bro.
Like you
Yeah,
can
it's
you can be strong and look good at the same time.
100%.
You,
100%.
yeah,
Easily. It all comes down to nutrition, bro.
yeah,
Honestly, it really all comes down to nutrition. Stay away from seed oils. Fuel
yeah.
yourself with an organic, whole food based diet as much as possible. Once I really started honing in on nutrition, that's when my physique started
Mm.
looking next level. And I started getting like unnatural claims. And I'm like, bro, that's the best compliment I've ever gotten. Like I'm 100% natural. I'm natural. It's like whether you think it or not.
Mm.
But yeah, it all comes down to nutrition, bro. And if you want to
Mm.
look better, if you want to feel better, you have to be fueling yourself correctly. And a lot of people, they're like, oh, like, how do I get this jawline? Well, why don't I have this jawline? Blah, 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 blah. It's like because you're eating soft foods. When
Mm.
was the last time you went out of your way to chew something hard? When
Mm.
was the last time you went out of your way to like chew a steak or like take a
Mm.
bite into an apple? Your face
Yeah,
is
yeah,
there's muscles everywhere within your body. Why do you think that your face is any different than your bicep? If your bicep can
yeah.
change and grow and transform, why can't your face?
Mm. Also, in terms of the jawline, just a quick tip. Like literally, if you search up micropole tape, Like literally, that's like
Yeah.
surgical thin ass tape. You just put it on your lip, and you tape your mouth with that when you're sleeping because you
Yeah,
cannot suffocate
mouth
without.
taping is so important.
Yeah, and like literally, you wake up and weren't mouth breathing the whole night. You don't have saliva all over your fucking face,
Dude,
and you
yeah. And
just
you know what?
feel.
To
I
go
don't know
into that, bro.
why. I don't know why, but I just feel more energized in the morning, and I don't know if that's it.
No, it makes complete sense. I mean, it makes complete sense. There's holistic dentists that I know that say that
Mm,
mouth breathing is one of the number one causes of cavities, and it makes complete sense. I mean, your mouth is so dry, and if you
mm,
mouth breathe, it fucks up your facial structure so much. If anyone's
yeah.
watching this video, stop mouth breathing. Stop mouth breathing right now. Don't mouth breathe. If you mouth
Yeah.
breathe, like you gotta stop, bro. That shit is not it. And like you like research mewing too.
Mm,
Mewing is really beneficial. Like when you
yeah.
put your tongue on like the root of your mouth, like you can
Mm,
literally feel your jaw muscles work. That and
yeah.
there's also mastic gum that you can chew. I use Greco gum. I'm actually an affiliate for them.
Mm,
And mastic gum is incredible. If you chew that for like 3 weeks, your jaw will transform.
fucking hell, I'm gonna
100%.
take a look into that. But yeah,
Nah, it's
basically,
great. It's great.
mm, basically, if you want to mute, just literally, like swallow your saliva and then just keep the tongue at the same place you were taking it
That's a
when you were
great
sleeping.
way. That's a great
Yeah,
way of saying it because a
that's
lot
the
of people
simplest way to
they try
explain it.
mewing. They try mewing and they don't know how to.
Yeah,
And like
exactly.
I don't know if this is working or not.
So, why do some people not get the result they expect? What's the most common thing
In life or in the gym?
in the gym? What's the most common thing that they're doing wrong when they don't see results?
They're not consistent.
Mm.
That's the number one thing. They're not consistent and they're just ignorant. They don't have enough information. I always say this to guys that are trying to gain weight. They'll come to me and they're like, "I'm eating the most that I've ever eaten in my entire life. Why am I not gaining weight?" I'm like, "You're not eating a lot. I
Mm.
promise you that." I'm like, "Have you ever tracked a full day of eating?" And
Ah.
they respond, they're like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, I want you to track a full day of eating and then come back to me." They
Mm.
track a full day of eating, they come back to me and they're like, "Holy shit, I am not eating at all." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I know you're not eating. If you were to track
Mm.
one day, you'll see that you're probably
Yeah.
severely under eating." you know and the same thing with gym, like people want to get stronger but they're just not consistent, or they want to take the easy route. Everyone hates training legs, but your legs are the biggest muscle group in your body and they produce the most amount of testosterone. So like when the legs are the strongest, everything else follows, but
Yeah.
no one wants to train legs because it's hard. But like, why not take a step back and be like, okay, if this is
Mm.
so hard, that probably means i'm gonna achieve something great with this. But yeah, people just aren't consistent, bro. People want the easy way out. They want the quick fix. They're entitled. They don't want to put in the work. And if they
Mm.
just gave themselves 30 days and said, I'm gonna do everything 100%. I'm gonna do
Mm.
everything 100%, and I'm gonna do it for 30 days, and I'm gonna document day 1 to day 30.
Mm.
th- their physique will completely change because they've
Mm.
never been that consistent. They've never been consistent, and I think that that's huge because a lot of people just need social proof. That's
Mm.
really it. People just need social proof.
Fucking hell.
And the gym and bodybuilding is the greatest way of manifestation, like you can
Mm.
see true change within your physique. So like once you see
Mm.
that change, you become addicted and you're like, okay, how much further can I actually take this? I was able to do this in 30 days following this.
Mm.
What more can I do? But people just don't want to put in the work.
Mm.
They just don't want to put in the work. So consistency 100% is the reason why people aren't where they want to
Mm.
be,
I have a
especially
question.
in the gym.
I have a question towards that. What's the most common excuse you hear people say?
They don't have time. They don't. I don't have time.
Oh my god.
Bullshit. Bullshit. What do you mean you don't have time? If it matters to you enough, you make time. You make
Yeah.
time if it matters to you enough. What do you mean
Like,
I don't have time? Well, okay, wake up earlier.
yeah.
Oh, well, I can't. What do you mean? Why can't you wake up earlier? That makes no sense. Well, because this. No, it's either you want this change or you like the idea of it and you don't actually want the change.
Mm,
That's why when I take on clients, I'm very specific with my
mm,
process and I have like a one-on-one call with them. And I'm like, yo, I need to make sure that we're a good fit because if
yeah,
you come to me saying that you want to make change, I expect you to give me 110% and then more because that's how I give my
yeah,
clients. And any of my clients know, if any of my clients are watching this, they all know that I go above and beyond to make
yeah.
sure that I'm right there doing everything that I can to allow them to be the best version of themselves in and outside of the gym.
Mm.
But
You
people just
see,
want the easy route, bro.
mm. I had one period of time when I had like podcasts every single day, and I had to edit them, and I had to post them on certain days and do clips and everything. I didn't really commuting to the gym and back would take me like in total like 3 or 4 hours, and I genuinely didn't have time for that. Though that, but even then, I didn't use the excuse because I still exercised at home. I still had the dumbbells at home,
100%.
and even if I didn't,
100%.
even when I didn't, I would still do like 200 body weight squats, 200
Yeah.
push-ups, and I'd
Yeah.
find
You
a
don't need to
way
go to the
outside.
gym.
Or I'd
You don't need to
find,
go to the gym.
yeah. So basically, even if you don't have money and time, it's quicker and cheaper if you don't have those resources, which most people actually do, and they just cope in reality.
A
So,
100%. They just want the easy way out, and winners will always find a way. If something
mm,
means enough to you, you will find a way. It doesn't matter. Like you just said, it was a 4 hour commute just for you to go to
yeah,
the gym and probably train and train arms.
yeah,
But like you still find a way. And even if you
yeah,
can't, okay, you do dips at your house, or you
yeah,
find a broomstick and you put 2 gallons
yeah.
of water on the broomstick and you're just curling. And it's because you know what you want. And a lot of people, they struggle right now because they just are confused with what it is that they want. They're just
Yeah,
confused. There's so many things, but like it's all good if the gym doesn't mean that much to you. Don't try and act like it does.
yeah,
Like there's things that I don't step into because I know my place. I know that I'm not gonna I know that I'm not gonna be like a farmer, like that's just
mm,
I'm not gonna grow like at least right now. I mean, I would love to hire a farmer who could like
mm,
make everything for me, and I could eat the most delicious organically grown fruit and vegetables. But like, I'm not gonna give it my all
mm,
if I were to go into that avenue. So like, you need to know yourself, and you need to know what you want out of this life. And I think honestly, you
mm,
need to expect more from yourself too. People just don't expect more.
mm.
You need to be more aggressive.
When people start taking something seriously, and it doesn't usually have to be the gym, but or we're gonna use the gym as an example. You usually have to have that. Hamza calls it FTE moment, which means fuck this event. When they are like so pissed off, or
You have
some embarrassing moment happens, and that's where they decide to change. I remember vividly my FTE moment, and I think that the majority of people had it, or they just had it over a longer, prolonged period of time. Did you have
agreed.
a moment where you decided to take the gym seriously because of the painful moment?
Absolutely.
Mm.
I remember this moment specifically, and I use it whenever like I need to like tap into that mode. I use it to motivate me and push me when I feel like I don't have anything left
Hmm.
in the tank. I started the gym because I got picked on a lot in middle school and high school to the point where I would wear baggy clothes in like the summer
Hmm.
because I was self-conscious of what people would say to me. But yeah, there was someone that I was
Hmm.
actually really close with at the time who told me that my arms look like noodles and that I literally look like a twig. Like word for word. He was like, "Bro,
Hmm.
your arms are noodles. You look like a twig. Like, when are you gonna gain some muscle?" And I
Hmm.
remember him saying that. And from that day forward, bro, that lit the
Yeah.
biggest fire in me. And I went home immediately after school, went
Hmm.
upstairs in my house. I had like 12-pound dumbbells, and I don't even know if to this day if I curled a dumbbell with that much intensity and ferocity ever. And I just went
Yeah.
upstairs and I just kept on hearing him say that over and over and over and over again. And it broke me. It broke me. But I completely agree with what you
Hmm.
said, and I completely agree with what Hamza said. it's like you have that comeback moment where it's either you step up to the plate or you drown. And
Yeah.
as a man, you're going to get kicked in the face a bunch of times, but what matters is what you do after the fact of that. It's how
Yeah.
you respond to the situation. And that's where success comes from.
I bet your arms don't look like noodles anymore.
No, they don't. They don't. But that's why I'm so determined to help guys that are in the same spot overcome
Yeah.
that, because I know that feeling. And it's a really dark, scary place that a lot of people don't want to go into. But you
Hmm.
don't have to be alone, and just know that you can transform your physique. You're more than
Hmm.
capable of transforming your physique. Don't let your genetics limit you and your potential.
I wanted to ask you about that. Do you believe that the guys that go lone wolf mode, like apart from those
Stupid.
who either network or go with a gym bro or something, whether that's in business or in the gym, what do you think is better?
So I think that there's phases to that question. Personally speaking, I went lone wolf mode because of that. And I had my
Hmm.
phase where I wanted to be better than everyone. I wanted to prove everyone wrong. I wanted to work harder than everyone. I didn't want to work with anyone. It was a
Hmm.
very selfish mode. You know, you use the other's words as fuel, and then you achieve this
Yeah.
thing, but once that thing is achieved, you have nothing left.
Hmm.
And then you're at a standstill, and you have a decision to make. You're like, am I going to go this way or am I going to go this way? And
Yep.
you have to progress. And I went the route of getting out of the lone wolf mentality, because it
Yep.
doesn't serve you any good. But if
Yeah.
I didn't experience the lone wolf mentality, I wouldn't have got to this mentality. But
Yeah.
no, I think that there's a time and place for everything. It's just like the same thing as, if a man gets his heart broken, he uses that as fuel to become a
Yeah.
better man. And he might go into the gym and train his ass off. He might eat healthier. He might start learning, reading. He's gonna improve himself. But again, that can only take you so far, because say you do this thing and like you proved her wrong or him
Yeah.
wrong, then you have nothing left. What matters is
Hmm.
how you feel about yourself,
Yeah.
and that will always be there. So this life is not a game of competition, it's a game of cooperation.
Hmm.
And once you understand that this life becomes so much more fun when you're doing it with people that you love, and you're doing it with people that have the same interests as you, like, you have no enemies. And I always say that that's from an anime that I really love. Like,
Hmm.
I have no enemy. I have no enemies.
Yeah.
Why would I have an enemy? If anything, you realize that the only enemy was you this entire
Yeah.
time. And that's when people can really start progressing, is when you realize that if there's something in your life that you don't like, it's your fault. It's not
Yeah.
his fault, it's not her fault, it's not your parents' fault, it's
Hmm.
not your childhood's fault, it's your fault. You are the
Hmm.
creator of your own faith, and you're the creator of your fate. And if
Yeah.
you want to change your life, it's in your hands. You hold the key. So
Hmm.
again, like, to conclude on what I was saying, it's an important process that one needs to go through when experiencing a transformative experience,
Hmm.
but cooperation is much better than competition. And networking is
Hmm.
very important. One person can change your life. And even if you don't have
Yeah.
anything to provide to that person, just be a good person at heart, and it will always come
Yeah.
back to you, because you never know what someone can do for you.
Hmm. That's amazing. I feel like physical health affects your mental absolutely, and people
Of
overlook that.
course.
I'm gonna
Your gut is your second brain.
I'm gonna give one example from 3 days ago where I was like, this was the concept of manual thoughts and automatic thoughts. I don't know if I'm
Sure.
gonna explain this briefly. Or automatic thoughts are just thoughts that go into your brain automatically, and manual
Sure.
thoughts are things that you're saying and putting in your mind
Sure.
automatically. It's a pretty self-explanatory. A couple of days back, I like after a long time, I finally when I worked on my diet again, I just recapitalized at 7 p.m. what did I eat today? And I was like, okay, I ate 6 eggs in the morning. I ate 200 grams of beef, and then ate another 6 eggs. And I was like, fucking hell, I'm proud of myself. And then I
Mm,
realized that's an automatic thought.
mm,
Now my self-esteem is higher because I put in the effort to eat correctly, and now I
mhm,
feel automatically better about myself. Some people, when they try to take risks, they have, oh, what if it doesn't work, what if they this is self-doubt, and those are their automatic thoughts. What
mhm,
if when you work hard, your automatic thoughts are positive and then you believe in yourself automatically and you don't have to
mhm,
fake it till you make it? You are already confident in yourself. But it does take a couple of months, years of work before you can start feeling good about yourself, because you went your entire life fucking eating Doritos, and now you started eating clean for a week. You're still not gonna be confident just yet, but a year from now, staying consistent on it, you're gonna start getting positive manual thoughts. And I want to ask you, uh, what was your experience with with your like self-esteem, with like confidence,
mhm,
with like
mhm.
the way you feel about yourself after being consistent for a while?
Yeah. The first thing that came to my mind when you were speaking is program yourself or be programmed by
Mm.
another person.
Fucking hell.
Program yourself or be programmed by another person. And
Mm.
especially as someone who experienced a bunch of difficult child situations that imposed those limitations on myself, that's the automatic
Mm.
programming is I can't do this.
Mm.
I don't have what it takes. You know, like my
Mm.
family's in poverty, like it's just going to be that way forever because that's all that you know. But once
Yeah.
you reprogram yourself and you reprogram your mind, you start to understand that it's all just a thought and you don't have to
Mm.
listen to those thoughts because they're just down here. You can choose to listen to up here, you know, what people say is your higher self. And that's where I that's where I've been for the past 3 years, has just been in the mind game. I've just been in like the hyperbolic time chamber, reprogramming any and all limiting beliefs,
Mm.
reprogramming any negativity. Like I quite frankly have hypnotized myself
Mm.
into this completely different person. And whether people think that that's woo woo or not, it's not woo woo. This is who I am now, and I'm living a much more successful, happier, healthier
Mm.
life. And I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're on Twitter or not, but Twitter is a
I
very,
am.
very, very good place to go deep into
Mm.
your mind, go deep
Mm.
into that meditative state. Like
I know.
it's so cool because it's just like a collective group of consciousness.
Yeah.
And if you can get yourself in the right group, you're seeing things every single day from people that have like the most intelligent brain on this planet right now. Like there's like
Yeah.
Albert Einstein's on Twitter right now. There's Nikola Tesla's. There's absolute
Mm.
geniuses on social media. So like if you want to enhance if you want to enhance your mental self-image, surround yourself around the things and the people that are already doing and have what you want to have. And just immerse yourself in that
Mm.
every single day. So for instance, again, I can relate this to the gym because this is all that I've known. 3 years ago, I met my coach slash mentor. His name's Justin Batterina. I don't know if you're familiar with the Olympia and like the gym,
Yeah.
but he just competed at the Olympia next to Chris Bumstead. He placed 14th,
Mm.
and he's gonna be the next Mr. Olympia. People say that he reminds him that he reminds them of Chris Bumstead. But I knew that this guy was taking the gym in our area to a level that no one else was. So I told myself,
Mm.
I'm going to find a way to get closer to this guy so that way I can adapt his beliefs, so that way I can adapt his training philosophy, so that way
Mm.
I can take that level of intensity that he applies to the gym and apply it to the way that I apply it to the gym. And I was just
Mm.
determined, bro. And my opportunity came. I met him. I told him that like I'm pretty good with the camera, and I know that he like his content game isn't that good. And if we wanted to train together once, that I could shoot him a free
Mm.
video. We trained together one time. I shot him a video. We hit it off like that. And he said, "Yo, like I'm looking for a training partner. Like if you can help me with content, I'll teach you everything I know in the gym." And we
Holy
became
shit.
best friends. And that's my best friend now, who is soon to be Mr. Olympia, bro.
Possible.
All because I told myself that I want to step into this new reality. And it's
Yeah.
very interesting how that works, bro, because once you step into that reality,
Mm.
it's like an elevator.
Yeah.
It's like an elevator, and like certain people are gonna get off on their floor, but like you just got to keep going up to your level. You
Mm.
got to keep going, got to keep going, got to keep going. It's okay if these people aren't on your floor, let them get off. You got to keep ascending. And like even the people that I know from high school or middle school that
Mm.
aren't as ambitious as me and think the way that I think and want to live the way that I live, I can't tell you the last time I've seen them in person. It's weird, bro. It's like they don't even exist anymore. It's very weird, bro. It's very
I
weird.
can
It's almost
relate
as
to
if
that.
like you know what I'm saying? It's almost as
Yeah.
if we're in a completely different timeline now. Which is why you connected with me. It's like we're in a
Yeah.
completely different timeline. That's why you connected with Hamza. You guys are in the same
Yeah.
timeline. That's
So,
why I connected with David Lade. We're in the same timeline.
mm, you see, it's funny because when I was in high school a couple of months back, I had this one guy that kept like shitting on my gym progress like even a year ago. Which to be fair, yes, I was a powerlifter. I was eating like shit. I didn't really look like I lift. So when he like told me like I looked like shit even though I was training for a year and a half. 1 year later, 2.5 year experience. 1 year of losing the 35 to 40 pounds I've lost and fucking getting in good shape finally. I see that he's liking my Instagram stories and is still watching me, even though he was like literally trying to bully me back then when I was like
Mhm,
16. And I'm like,
mhm.
you know what? That's like, it's nice to see that he still cares about me because as you level up and you don't care about the people from your past, they are gonna come crawling back, or they're still gonna be spectating you as you
Mhm.
grow, and that's like I don't believe in taking revenge on people. You know, I don't
Me
believe in
neither.
like
Me
trying
neither.
putting your energy into
Me
making
neither.
them feel bad. It's just like
Me
they
neither.
feel bad enough when they see that they start at the same ground as you and you're like elevating up and they're at the same place. I feel like that's enough
If
for
they're
me.
if they're hating on you, it's because they're
Mm.
hating on themselves that much more. And in those moments when people are making fun of you and are saying not nice things and are pretty much just shitting on you, that's when you need to pray for them because they're dealing with something that we
Oh,
can't comprehend.
fucking hell.
Hurt people. And when you're a happy, positive person that just wants the best for yourself, those are the
Mm.
people that you're going to attract and you're going to root for everyone. Like, I mean, this is
Mm.
our first time speaking, but like,
Yeah.
I feel very grateful speaking to you, bro. And like, I want nothing but the best for you. You know,
Yeah.
then that's how I see every single person that I meet and come into interaction with. I aspire to leave every person that I meet with the impression of
Mm.
increase, whether they are hating on me, judging me, or love me. Because
Yeah.
even if someone is judging me or criticizing me or hating me, I'm still a part of their healing process.
Mm.
And that gives me hope when it comes to
Mm.
creating vulnerable content on social media because I've been vulnerable, man, and but it's because I'm
Mm.
for the people. I'm authentic and I know that when people see my stuff, they can relate to me. I'm not like some guy that is so far out there who lives
Yeah.
this life that is not capable. It's like, no, dude, like I came from the slums. I had a very dark, difficult, very long lasted childhood that I still am dealing with, but like I'm determined to
Mm.
show people that you can live the life of your dreams if you just keep pushing forward. And it's like
Mm.
hate it or not, I'm still a part of your healing process if
Mm.
you're viewing my things. So at that point, it just motivates me to just continue putting out as much content as I can because there's really only a plus side. There's no
Yeah.
downside when you have that mindset. Like when you are doing something with a positive intention, it does not matter what anyone else says or thinks. If you know that what you're doing is coming from the correct place and you're doing it with love and
Mm.
authenticity, that's all that matters and you have nothing to be afraid of. So that's why I always say, as long as you are you to your core, keep being you. Because That's what the people need to see.
Mm. Nate Nate Diaz once said, "If you don't like me but you still watch everything I do, you're still a fan." And I'm
He's
like, at
right.
that point, that's correct, you know. And another thing that it pisses me off is when people are like trying to censor themselves, or like trying to not be fully honest and say what they fully think because somebody might dislike them for it. I'll tell you why that is so dumb. It's because you're gonna make people like a fake version of you, and if you ever wanna be your true self, the people that like the fake version of you are gonna start hating you. And if you are your true self from the beginning, you're gonna
Yeah.
filter out the people that don't like you and that like you.
Truth.
And
Truth.
you're not under this constant stress subconsciously of, I gotta play
Hmm.
this character so these people like me. It's like,
So true. So true.
even if it's less people, even if it's like 20% less people that like you, if you're being your true self with that less stress and anxiety subconsciously that you might not even be conscious of, it's so much more worth it losing a couple of people that don't like you.
Oh, I
And
agree. Oh, I agree.
so,
Life becomes so much better when you are just honest and you're
yeah,
transparent. You don't have anything to hide. That's when
yeah,
you can be the best version of yourself. Like I remember when I was younger, I would try to lie all the time.
me
I
too.
was manipulated, so I tried manipulating people. Like we talk about hurt people, hurt people. I was manipulated,
Yeah,
so I was a manipulator, and it's very like
yeah,
as I reflect in those moments, it's like very scary when like you're not telling the truth and like you're just thinking, oh, when is this person gonna figure out that I'm not being
yeah,
honest? Or you're just waiting for your downfall. But when you're living out your truth, life becomes so much more incredible because you don't have anything to hide. It's like, yo, this
yep,
is who I am, this is what I stand for, take it or leave it. I'm not afraid
mm,
to say it. I'm not afraid to share it. I'm not afraid to feel it. Like
yep,
take it or leave it. And like you said, like you just attract the right people, and that's why relationships fail very easily because people try to be this person that they're not instead of just
mm,
being very genuine and authentic and authentic.
like, this is just maybe a specific example, but it's a simple one. It's like, okay, I don't want a girl that has guy friends, and I just don't like that. Okay, am I gonna, when she says that I'm insecure or anything, I have two options. I can leave her, or I can tolerate it and pretend I'm okay with it. So
Mhm.
if I pretend I'm okay with it, it's only a matter of time. A year, 2 years, 3 years, till I really get sick of it. Or
Of
or she,
course,
she or she does something. Or
of course,
it just pisses me off so much and it piles up until I can't take it anymore.
of course.
Or if I'm gonna be honest from the beginning, okay, look, I'm not going into a relationship with a girl that has guy friends. And this is just something like, it's, take it or leave it. It's gonna be less girls because a lot of girls like to have guy friends, but the ones that are willing to give up their guy friends, or they don't have any guy friends at all from the beginning, the relationship with them is so much more worthwhile because from the beginning you don't have to pretend you don't mind. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's something so valuable that people should start, even, okay, not enforce your boundaries upon somebody, but give them the option to leave, but tell them, like, literally tell
Yes.
them, like, people like pretend they don't mind something, like their friend saying, ah man, shut the fuck up. And I don't like when
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
speak,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like when somebody speaks to me that way.
Yeah,
So I'm like, man, if
yeah,
you don't stop, if you keep speaking to me this way, I'm gonna stop speaking to you. And they're like,
yeah.
why are you so sensitive? I'm like, I'm not sensitive. This is just something that I don't like in somebody, in a friend that I want to take seriously. So listen, I want you to stop speaking like this. I feel like people are just afraid to tell the truth.
Yeah, they
And
are. They're afraid to get judged. They're afraid to say how they feel.
yeah,
But there's no reason to be afraid.
mm,
Like just say and own your truths
yeah,
because you're gonna find that woman that is for you. Like relationships are all about compatibility. And if
mm,
you're just honest from the start, you're gonna find your compatible partner. Don't waste other people's times. Like if you know that this person isn't what you want in a partner, but you're staying in it because of the lust in you, it's like you're doing both of you guys
Mm,
a disservice, and it doesn't go far ever.
mm,
Ever, it doesn't go far, and it's never good.
mm.
It's a waste of
I
time, bro.
wanted to ask you, food affects how you feel.
It does.
So, what's like the most how should I say it? The 80-20 rule of diet and health? How can somebody go within a week to feel much healthier than they do? What should they subtract or start eating?
Immediately cut out processed bullshit.
Mm,
Stop eating seed oils. Educate yourself on ingredients, especially if you're in America.
mm.
The food quality here is absolutely horrendous. When I was in Iceland, I think that I only saw like two overweight people, but then like you
Mm,
come back to the US and it's like 85% of people.
mm,
But honestly, man, just like eliminate the seed oils, eliminate processed foods.
mm,
Instead of going out, make your own food. Go to the grocery store, look at what you're actually eating. Like if you go and see a
mm,
nice piece of red meat or those eggs that have the beautiful orange yolk that are pasture
mm.
raised and organic, and
Yeah.
like a nice dark green leafy green, or a nice bright blue blueberry, like
Mm,
that's just going to create a positive reinforcement in your brain. So obviously it's going to affect how you feel,
mm,
but I would say minimize the amount of times that you go out to eat.
mm,
Start going to the grocery store, educating yourself on what it is that you actually can and should put into your body to produce the results that you want, and try and eat as organic and as whole foods as possible. Like if I'm going to break down protein, carbs, fats, great protein sources are obviously like a lean red meat, a fatty red meat, fish, tuna,
mm,
yogurt, chicken breast, ground turkey, a nice protein powder. Fat sources: ghee, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, raw milk, raw dairy,
mm,
dark chocolate, cacao, eggs. Carb sources:
mm,
sweet potatoes, quinoa, gluten-free oats, sourdough bread, jasmine rice, fruits, fruit
mm,
juices, things like that. And it's crazy because people
mm,
think that those foods are so difficult to stay consistent with, but
mm.
I love what I eat so
Me
much, and I
too.
am I am addicted to what I eat.
Exactly.
I'm so addicted to what I eat. And once
Mm,
you start eating correctly, you understand that it's not you that craves the bullshit. It's actually parasites within your body that crave those sugars, that crave all
mm,
that bullshit. It's
mm,
not you, man.
mm,
Yeah, eating healthy is easy. You just need to
mm,
find the diet that works best with you and your
mm,
goals. Everyone has a different diet, in my opinion. What works
mm,
with me might not work for you, and that's
mm,
completely cool. That's why people are vegan. There's case studies of people that are vegan and they're healthy as fuck. But then there's
mm.
also case studies of vegan that are very vitamin and mineral deficient. There's people that are carnivore
Yep.
diet and the same thing. Like every
Yeah.
single person's body is different. You just have to be the case study and figure out what works best with you.
Mm.
And that's kind of like where I've been at the past like 10 years. I've tried every diet over like under the sun, and what I do now works best with me, so I stick with it.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the vegan and carnivore diet soon, but I wanted to say something. All it takes, in my opinion, is 2 months to get used to that and get rid of the addiction to sugar. I'm gonna give an example because I've been like for the past 3 months, I've only been eating like 10 to 15 eggs, 200 grams of beef, almost daily. Sometimes I don't eat beef, but also I regularly just eat chicken. I eat like real food, and I eat some carb sources from dark chocolate and bananas. Okay, that's about it. I eat like a very simple, like 5 ingredient diet.
Yeah, easy.
3 months, no, 2.5 months later, like 2 weeks back, I bought a Snickers bar. I wanted to just,
The
I was like,
Snickers
okay, you know
bar.
what? I lasted 2 months without even touching this. I want to just taste it. I
Yeah.
opened it. I ate like half of it, and I was like, how the fuck did this? I people are not gonna believe me when I say this, but it's like I felt anxious eating it because I was like,
Wow.
already like I imagined in my brain like that fat version of me who used to eat 5 Snickers bars like back a year ago. And I was like, I just couldn't eat the second half of it. I gave it to my girlfriend.
You're not attracted to it anymore. Yeah,
But it's like,
it's
yeah.
just not how you are.
And 2 months ago, I would eat like 3 of them. And right now, I
Mm.
was like, it kind of tastes good, but it's like it ruins the taste thinking about like the anxious thoughts about what am I putting in my body, because I've been
Agreed.
eating real food for the past 2 months and now I'm putting this.
Agreed.
It's like it feels so bad. So
Agreed.
I,
But
I think 2 months of eating clean is all it takes to get rid of the sugar addiction and get used to real food.
yeah, I'd argue 30 days. I think people can do it even in less.
Hmm.
I think people can do it in less. But no, I agree. Regardless, 30 days, 60 days, it really doesn't take long. And then once you do
Hmm.
it, you see that you're just not attracted to that stuff anymore. Because it's not producing
Yeah.
results, because you start becoming obsessed with things that are
Yeah.
going to improve your life. And those things clearly aren't going to improve your
Yeah.
life. But I will say, I do think everything in moderation. I do think that it's very important,
Yeah.
especially for like sustainability, to have like a free meal
Yeah.
once every week or two if you want, where you don't worry
Mhm.
about it, like. And it's cool too because then you can be like the guinea pig, and you can be like, okay,
Mm.
like I'm eating this meal, how am I going to look tomorrow in the gym? Like I do that all the
Mm.
time. I learn my body all the time. Like I for the past month I've been doing like a sodium protocol,
Mm.
so that way I can see like how I look when I consume a
Mm.
bunch of sodium. So like for me,
Yeah.
I had Chinese food intentionally 2 weeks ago because I know that those fuckers load that shit up with so much sodium.
Mm.
I mean, obviously it's just like chicken with a bunch of sauce and then like white rice just with a bunch of
Yeah.
sodium. Then I train the next day in the morning. I look absolutely insane. It's like the veins everywhere. It's like the craziest that I've ever looked. And I do it again, and then I did
Yeah.
it again. I'm like, okay, like when I go and compete now this summer, now I have this data, so that
Mm.
way, it's gonna help me peak. It's gonna help me look
Yeah.
the way that I want to look on stage. So I do think
Mm.
that everything in moderation. It's important just to allow yourself to not only let loose just for like the mental reasonings, but also just allow yourself to learn
Mm.
how your body works and responds as well.
Mm. You see, what I always say with bad habits, whatever that may be, even eating bad or other stuff. What I always recommend to people, if you care about yourself and if you have like some self-esteem, record yourself doing a bad habit. So for example, eating.
Yo, oh my gosh, that's wild.
Can
Yeah.
I can I give an example? So I record myself eating eggs, and I look at that, and I like, hell, fucking yeah, I eating a healthy meal. I look good. I
Oh
feel
my
good about it.
god.
I
Wow.
record I record myself playing video games. I'm like, I can't
Wow.
watch it for more than 30 seconds. I'm like, oh my goodness, like I'm
Wow.
anxious inside.
Can you
And
imagine if people recorded themselves jerk off?
yeah, yeah. Yo,
Dude, that
and
is
man,
crazy, bro.
yo, if you record yourself jerking off, I promise you, you're never gonna do it
I promise you, bro.
again.
Wow. I
Hey,
agree.
I had this I heard this some guy on NoFap like told me this on a group call. I believe it was on some Discord channel. I don't know. And he said like he and his brother took a bet for No Nut November that they're gonna put every time if they nut, they're gonna have for the whole month of November to put it in a glass jar and put it on their
Wow.
desk. So
That's
whenever somebody
ridiculous.
walks into your room, they see how much you jerked off.
Oh my
He
gosh.
said he did that once and he kept it on that desk. And
Wow.
literally, he had a girl come over
Wow.
and saw that he jerked. She asked him, "What's that?" And he explained it to her. And
Wow.
she called a taxi and went back home. And she
I
found some
I'm
excuse.
sure.
And
I'm
I'm like,
sure. I'm sure.
yeah, like literally. But if you jerk off, put it in a jar, put it on your desk for a month, and everybody can see it. That shame is gonna trigger you to stop. But most people are not willing to do that.
100%. That's why with super obese people, like you see it
Mm.
on those television shows, they use it's shock therapy. You know, like if there's someone who has an addiction to
Yep.
Coca-Cola, who
Mm-hmm.
drinks a case of Coke every single day,
Fuck.
they will fill up an entire room of like Coke bottles
Mm.
that would be consumed if they would stay at that rate for 365 days. And they
Mm.
walk into it and it's just this giant fucking room
Yeah.
filled with soda. And like, oh my God, I never want to do that again. Same thing with sugar. If you see how much sugar is
Yeah.
actually just poured into one like can of soda, and then you fill that into an entire room,
Yeah.
you'll probably pass out. You'll probably pass out.
Mm.
So
Holy shit.
there's truth to it. It's important, but honestly, bro,
Mm.
like if you have to nut in a bottle, you got
Mm.
more work to do, bro. Like
Mm.
just like you got more work to do. It shouldn't be that hard, bro. It's people
Mm.
overcomplicate this shit, dude. Just stop resonating with the addiction and just move on.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I also believe like if when you genuine, I like. I wanted to say like when you replace it with real sex with a woman, but a lot of guys in relationships still jerk off, and I'm like,
Yeah, because they're losers, bro. And like,
yeah.
dude, straight
I'm
up,
like,
bro. And like,
how the fuck can you watch another man? I think that's kind of like it's not just gay, but it's like kind of double gay because you're giving pleasure and receiving pleasure from a man at the same time.
yeah, no, it's fucked. It's fucked. And especially to go further into that, you are a fool if you think that your woman doesn't know that you're jerking off too. Like she's gonna know, bro. Even if like you're hiding it, she's gonna know. You just turn into this very lustful man.
Oh,
You're a shell of a man. It's the easiest way
yeah.
to tell. Like I mean, you see it all the time in real
Mm,
life, bro. People just have wandering eyes.
yeah.
You see it very common
Yo.
day to day. Everyone heads are turned if a girl walks by. It's like, bro, like
Yeah.
stay focused. She's
Yo.
gonna know that you're a weak man, bro.
One thing about this is like people don't actually realize this, but cum, like the smell of cum stays in a room. Like I went into my younger cousin who's like 14 or
Whoa.
15. I went to his room once and I could just smell, and I didn't
Wow.
say anything, but I was like,
Wow.
I smelled cum. So I'm like,
Wow.
okay, so when I used to jerk off when I was like from anywhere from fucking, I'm not gonna say that, okay, but I jerk off for a long time, like even like a year ago, year and a half ago, and I'm like, did my room stink like this? Oh my god! And people don't actually like fucking realize this, you know?
Yeah. I'm sure. I also think that I read somewhere that women can actually tell when you recently like came. That you have like a scent that lingers on
Hmm.
you. Yeah,
Really?
and that's like common, but like it's just like an
Hmm.
unsaid truth within like females. I don't know how
Hmm.
true that is. I kind of like went down like a rabbit hole. I think it was on
Hmm.
like Twitter or Reddit one time. And yeah, like a bunch of girls were like, yeah, like you can tell. So it's just like, dude, like yeah,
That's
just
interesting.
stupid, bro. Not worth it at all. It's literally your fucking life energy. You can create another human being with it. Why would you ever give
Yeah.
that up? It's stupid. Very stupid, bro.
Mm.
Very
I,
stupid.
yeah. I feel like a lot of times it got a chokehold on the guy and he wants to stop, but he just can't. And a lot of
Yeah.
guys like say like that, and I, to be honest, I can imagine that. I never had that much of a problem with it. To be honest, as soon as I really got into a relationship, I never was the guy that would jerk off whilst having a girlfriend. That was never me. And then with time, I always like had some girl around, so I just stopped naturally. Okay, but it's like I had a choke. The choke on me was not like porn, but for me the addiction was video games for a long time until I was like 15,
Mm.
16, even I just I uninstalled video games. I told myself I'm never gonna play again, and then I installed them a couple of days back, and I just I was like a zombie, and I just couldn't
Mm.
stop. And I imagine that it's like that for the guys that can't stop doing this motion over and over again. And I'm like,
Sure,
how do you
sure.
get out of that rut?
I think that I think that true progress can be made when you stop lying to yourself and
Mm,
say that you're never going to do something ever again,
mm,
because that's a lie. You know,
mm.
like example, like you probably
Yeah,
said that you're never going to play video games ever again, and then like you just
yeah.
installed it. You know, it's just like like don't give it the power. You're already
Yeah.
allowing the pendulum to swing in the pendulum's favor. Like just allow the pendulum to flow. Like learn how to surf, learn how to ride the waves and navigate at the best of your ability, because you can't predict the future. So who are you to say
Mm,
what you are going to or not
yeah.
do in the upcoming year, day, week, month? And
Mm,
from my experience, when I adapted that mindset, that's when a lot of things that had the chokehold on me didn't have the chokehold anymore, because it was in my favor and I became in control. Yeah. So yeah, I think that that's one of the best ways that people can go about it, is just being fully honest with yourself and
mm,
understanding that like nothing is permanent and you're probably gonna fuck up again, but it's okay because that's just how life works.
mm,
All what matters most is how you respond after the fact. And if you know that you have the discipline and the willpower to get back on track, you really have
mm,
nothing to worry about, bro.
mm. I remember we mentioned the carnivore and the vegan diet 15 minutes ago. I want to get into
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah.
if you have to pick one, which one would you pick, and what do you think? Who is it good for, if ever, like considering it, in what situation, if it a period of time or when you think
Yeah.
about
So I have experience with both. Okay, so I have experience with the vegetarian diet, which is a little different than the vegan, but
it. Mm-hmm.
I'll use vegetarian instead of vegan because I have personal experience with that. So a year ago, I got the opportunity to live and train with monks, and I lived and trained with monks for 3 weeks,
Mm,
and they follow a completely vegetarian based diet. There was no way around
yep.
it. It was either you follow the vegetarian based diet or you don't get this experience. So obviously, the experience I must get. So I'm following the
Mm,
vegetarian based diet. I think for a spiritual practitioner, it's a great thing to do.
mm,
I can attest that I, without a doubt, felt the most connected to myself and God ever in my entire life,
mm,
because you're much lighter. You're not consuming animal products. You're not consuming things that have died. You know, like you're
mm,
consuming things that are still living. And that's why I said earlier, each diet is for a specific purpose. Everyone's diet is everyone's diet needs to be for their own goal.
mm,
So if your goal is to be a spiritual practitioner, or to be a monk, or to try and reach enlightenment, of course, like a vegetarian based diet is absolutely going to help you do that. But if you're someone who wants to build muscle, powerlift, bodybuild, like it's more than likely not going to be to your benefit. So there's a time and place for everything. If I were to choose either of the two, I would choose carnivore any day
mm,
because of my goals. But like
yep.
I of course like I adopt the monk lifestyle, meditation, prayer, journal, reading, leading in service, but I just do it in my own way. And when I was there for 3 weeks, I lost
Mm,
muscle and I lost strength and I was losing weight. Um that you just have to weigh the pros and
mm,
the cons, and the cons on the vegetarian based diet just outweighed the pros. So
mm,
I moved to the wouldn't say I follow like I don't follow a carnivore based diet now. Like I mean I don't only eat red meat. I don't not
mm,
eat carbs. Like for the most part I eat red meat, eggs, chicken, ground turkey, yogurt, sweet potatoes, jasmine rice, gluten-free oats, and a bunch of fruit and
mm.
vegetables. That's like my diet, and I absolutely love it. Raw dairy,
God,
raw
does it
milk.
feel amazing eating these foods?
Oh, you feel absolutely invincible, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I have that experience of how I feel currently on this diet, and it's working with my lifestyle, my needs, and my goals. So I'm gonna keep riding the wave because it's
Yep.
it's doing something, you know.
Mm. Whenever I say like to someone that I eat like anywhere between like 15, 10, 15, and 18 eggs a day, somebody says like, man, how do you do that? I like eat 4 eggs and I'm disgusted, or like I eat 4 eggs and I can't anymore. I'm like, well, yeah, I used to eat like 4 days, 4 eggs a day, then five. Then I like I constantly like I tried boiling them, I tried scrambling them, I tried drinking them, I tried everything, but I found a way where I scrambled them. I put some really good seasoning on it. I found a way to make it that I like it. Like some people try to copy the way somebody does something, some training program, for example. If you hate it and you're gonna give up on it, it's absolutely useless.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, I completely agree, bro.
So,
But that's a lot of eggs. Holy shit.
yeah, and I've been eating that for like the past 30 days,
I would
or
slonk them.
at least 15 every single day. But to be honest, yeah, we have homegrown chicken. We have like fucking 45 or 50 chickens in the backyard, so we have
Whoa, that's
tons of it.
epic.
Yeah, we have a lot of chicken, so we have to usually also kill some chicken. So I have like free chicken meat,
Wow.
uh, every couple of days, like once a week, one chicken a week we kill, because we have too
Wow.
many of them. But yeah, man, like I eat free eggs and chicken breast, like literally. So that's amazing.
Wow. That's
uh,
amazing.
However, I want to ask you, what's one food that is considered healthy in the fitness industry, which in reality is complete shit?
Rice Krispie treats.
What's that?
Like a you don't know what a Rice Krispie treat is? It's
I
like a
know.
little people eat it for pre-workout. It looks like a little like it's like a little snack
You
filled with
mean
so much bullshit in it.
just protein bars or something like that?
And no, it's so you no, it's you know this you know the cereal like Rice Krispie treat,
Yeah.
like Rice Krispies?
Yeah, kind
So
of.
it's so okay, so I guess it's like a marshmallow like Rice Krispie fucking candy. It's essentially like a candy that you would get if you go
mm.
trick or treating or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very light and airy. It's very easily digestible, which is why people like eat it
Mm.
pre-workout because it's quick sugars. But uh, it's complete bullshit. Like if you want quick sugar
Mm.
and you just want to have something pre-workout, just get some honey.
Yeah.
Just get some honey with some salt on it. It's the easiest thing
Mm.
ever. So yeah, I would say, I mean, I you don't know what I like am saying when I say Rice Krispie treat, but like that little like snack or
I
like the
think I can
fucking
imagine.
the bullshit like protein brownies or like the protein
I
like
know those.
the protein pop tarts or like the
Oh god,
protein cakes. It's like, dude, why
man.
can't you just be healthy? Like just go eat some real food. Why do you got to substitute and do all this to
Uh,
try to be healthy?
you know, here in my country, Czech Republic, I ate when I was a powerlifter. I ate the most disgusting type of shit that now I look back on and I thought this was healthy, right?
I did too, brother. I think we all
I
did at one
you know
point.
what I saw? I once ate a protein pizza, like frozen one.
Yo, I would eat the protein mac and cheeses.
Oh shit, yeah, and I
So
was like,
stupid,
oh, it
dude.
has protein, so it's good.
Yep.
You know this whole if it fits your macros type of bullshit. I absolutely
Yes,
hate
yes,
this.
yes.
You know who Eddie Abu is?
Yes.
Yeah, so or Eddie Abu, or how do you pronounce his name? I don't know right now. However, he once said, if you want to lose fat, don't focus on calories, focus on insulin. And I'm like, fucking hell, I didn't I wish I understood this back when I was on 190, 195 pounds, when I
Yeah.
was trying to fucking hell. Like
Well,
it's literally like way simpler than people make it to be.
it is, and people just want to not do the work. Like straight up, people just don't want to do the work, man. But there's no
Mm,
shortcuts. There's no shortcuts to getting a good physique, and that's a fact.
mm. So why do most people like quit after a month or two in the gym? Why do you think some people quit?
Because it's hard.
Hmm.
It's hard, man. It's hard to be consistent with your diet.
You
It's
know,
hard to show up at the gym when you don't want to be, especially if it's
hmm,
something that's different for you. You know, it's a
yeah.
different starting process.
Here, I want to say something. It's hard when it's not a habit. When it becomes
Yeah,
a habit, like brushing your teeth,
yeah, it
it's
is.
harder to eat a pizza for me than to
But
eat
also,
six eggs.
it's easier to go on your phone and order takeout to your house. It's hard to go in your car and drive
Mm,
to the grocery store 20 minutes away and then come back and cook all of the food.
mm.
That's what I mean. It's harder. It
Yeah,
takes more work. It takes more effort.
yeah. I feel like it's because people don't have it a habit yet, and they didn't
No, of
persist
course.
to make it a habit.
Of course. Yeah. Once it becomes a it needs to become a lifestyle, not a
Yeah.
chore. Once it becomes a lifestyle, everything becomes so much easier. But
Mm,
that's the hard thing is changing the lifestyle, which is an
yeah.
ongoing process. That takes a long time.
Was there a point where you wanted to quit?
Yeah, of course. All the time. I remember when all the time. I remember when I finished my first bodybuilding competition 3.5 years ago. I didn't know what to do because that
Hmm.
was a huge goal for me. I achieved the
Oh
goal of
shit.
stepping on stage and I competed, but then it's like, okay, like what now? I competed. Like, what do I do now? You know?
Hmm.
And then like it's scary. Like I placed third in my competition and I kind of was just like, damn, like I thought that I was gonna like place first. So now that means I have to work even harder now to get to
Yeah.
first the next time I compete. Like, damn, that's kind of scary. But yeah, there's been a bunch of times that I thought about quitting the gym, quitting social media, quitting content, quitting coaching, a bunch of times. And I don't think that it's going to be the last. I think that that's just
Hmm.
the part of life. But what matters is that your integrity is in check. You're disciplined. You have your core habits and your core values, and you just learn to, like I said, you just learn to ride the waves. You learn to surf. You don't try to
Hmm.
fight anything. When it comes, you allow it to come and just let it pass.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. And I want to say something to this. I remember being on a coaching call from Hamza in his group coaching in his Adonis school. And I remember he
Yeah.
was explaining this concept where he said very clearly that if you feel pressure, if you feel like doubts, sabotaging thoughts, excuses, you want to quit, it becomes harder and harder, you're sabotaging yourself. You see all this, it's getting harder and harder, and you wake up and you don't feel like going to the gym. This is a sign that you're on the right path. Because
I
if it was,
completely agree.
because when it's easy, you're doing something wrong probably because that quote, the way to heaven feels like hell and the way to hell feels like heaven. It's like if it feels like too easy, you have to think, okay, what is this gonna equal in long term? And it was like a real 1 hour long lecture, but I'm trying to summarize this and all. If it feels difficult, it means that you're doing something that you need to get used to, because as soon as it gets easier, then you're gonna have to find the next thing to get difficult. So get used to the difficulty, and keep in mind when something is really like painful, keep in mind, I'm doing something that's good for me for long term, and my future self is gonna be proud of me and thankful to me.
Once you understand that life is hard, life
Mm.
becomes easy.
Yeah, and it's a paradox, right? Fucking
it,
hell.
it really does, bro. It becomes easy once you understand that life's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard, man, but it's not it's how it's supposed to be, especially if you want to do something big.
Yeah.
Great greatness shouldn't be an overnight success. It's going to take a lot of work,
Mm.
and it's like are you ready to put in that work or not?
Mm. So, what was the toughest period in your life?
I would say 2.5 years ago when I thought that I had everything going for me and everything went south.
Hmm.
I was working a job that I liked, but didn't
Mm.
want to do that job long term or full time. I was
Hmm.
making great money, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't feel fulfilled. So
Hmm.
I told myself I'm going to save up as much money as I can. And when I have enough money saved up, I am going to leave this job and I'm going to go all in on social media because that's my passion.
Hmm.
My passion is making videos. I love making videos. I love YouTube. And so that's what I told myself. I told myself I'm going to go all in on the social media thing. So the time came where I had enough money in the bank. I left the job and I felt so much pressure to the point where it crumbled me. And I fell
Hmm.
down the deepest, darkest hole that I couldn't escape for about like 3, 4 months, bro. And all my relationships failed. The relationship that I was in completely plummeted with the girl of my dream, with the girl of my dreams.
Hmm.
Um, I became a shell of a man and I had to find myself again. And like you just
Hmm.
start losing your money because you're not doing anything. So like I was just spending money, spending money, spending money, uh, and you just go deeper and darker down that hole and it just
Hmm.
feels like you can't get out of it. So I'd say 2.5 years ago, I feel like I hit absolute rock bottom. Like my health wasn't good. I was like
Hmm.
overweight and like I wasn't taking care of myself well and like I wasn't like going out hanging out with my friends. Like that's how you really know if like someone's super
Hmm.
distant, not for a good reason, like to work on themselves, they're experiencing something that like you should
Hmm.
probably ask them if they're okay. Like and but you know what, bro? Like I always think about how shitty I felt in those moments and
Hmm.
constantly remind myself how grateful I am to feel the way that I do because
Hmm.
it's life's meant to be fun and enjoyed and you're meant to be happy, bro.
Yeah.
Like no one wants to be sad and miserable and not feel good about themselves. It's a really shitty feeling, bro. It really is.
Hmm.
But I do think that it's crucial for every person, especially as a man, to experience that because it shows
Hmm.
you the way that you don't want to live. So I use that to my benefit and I started from the ground up and I
Hmm.
like rebuilt myself and it's cool because when you're so down low it's like it can't get any worse than this, so like it can only
Hmm.
get up. And it's like okay, like I know that I don't like how I am right now. Let me redefine this person
Hmm.
and all of the things that you don't like about yourself, you let go and you just implement things that like you
Hmm.
want as a man within yourself and then you can just start being a better person.
Hmm. So
But
if
two
this
years ago,
was the toughest moment in your life, what was the main lesson that you learned from this moment, in this period?
that in order to want to live, you have to experience living the way that you don't want to live. And that you
Hmm.
need to be okay with feeling like shit at times because
Hmm.
it shows you the path that you're meant to be on.
Hmm.
No matter how dark it is, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel
Hmm.
even if it seems non-existent. There is light at the end of the tunnel,
Hmm.
but you have to go through those character development moments
Hmm.
if you want to make it out. And
Yeah.
like if you want to be an inspiration to others and in the world, people don't want to hear an overnight success. people
Yeah.
don't people don't want a person that had it easy.
Hmm.
They want the juicy stuff, bro, and that's how you need to view
Yeah.
your life. You need to view your life as if you're the main character in the movie because we
Yeah.
are. We're the main character in the movie. We've
Hmm.
gone through hell and back to get to where we are,
Yeah.
and it's kept the viewer engaged the entire time.
Yeah.
And the more that one can handle and take on and overcome, more are just going to benefit from your story. So
Hmm.
to piggyback off of what you said, I think like half an hour ago, when you're going through something that's really tough and testing, you have to remind yourself that it's for the greater good.
Yeah.
And when you are being tested, that should be a reminder to yourself that you're closer than you think to leveling up.
Hmm.
And all you have to do is pass the test. And if you're okay in that moment,
Hmm.
you'll be completely fine. You'll be able to overcome it. But in those moments, don't let that slip up drown you. Use it as fuel to remind yourself, hey, okay,
Mm,
I'm getting my shit kicked in. Okay, good. That's how I know that I'm close to leveling up. Let me just keep going because
mm,
I'm about to level up. I'm about to find the key to the door that I've been trying to find for 3 5 years. And
mm,
I think that if a lot of people go into hard situations with the mindset that it's teaching them something and that they're growing through it, not going through it, it becomes a different experience.
mm. I always tell myself, I actually even have it up here on my wall. If you can see all these papers on my wall, right?
Yeah.
On my wall.
Yeah.
So one of those quotes there is, think about the story you're gonna tell. And this is to
Do it for the
remind me,
plot. Do it for the plot. Yeah, bro.
yeah, this is to remind me. And I always tell this to people when they tell me how depressed they are, how something was fucked up, how something didn't work the way they wanted it, how they lost everything. I always keep this reminder, and I'm thinking of fucking making this into something more significant. As
You should.
think about the story that you're gonna tell. You're going to something really shitty and you're complaining. Complain about it a year from now when you've overcome that, and tell it in a story that's inspiring. Think about the story. And I'm like, fucking hell. I don't have any tattoos on my body and I never planned on. But this is the only thing that I would consider about, because I feel like this is a really good reminder of something that's so deep to me, because
Yeah,
I've kept
something that
this
you can
reminder
see
with
every
me.
day.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
thinking like if I had this in the palm of my hand, literally, or I
You see
just
it every day. You see it every day.
yeah, think about the story you're gonna tell or something like this. I'm like,
My
yeah,
life started changing when started thinking lightly of myself and deeply of the others. That's when my life
holy
started
shit,
changing.
holy shit.
Yeah, it's not about me, bro. It's not about me anymore. And
Hmm.
the same thing with my page. Like my page started taking off when I started allowing it to be like an idea. You know, like I want
Hmm.
everyone to think that like Kyle Massey is an idea. I'm not just a person.
Yeah.
I'm an idea. I represent what we all can become if we
Yeah.
just do the work and we believe in ourselves and we live righteously. Um, and that's just the most beautiful way to live because there's so many people out there that are struggling in silence, that are afraid to speak up. But if you just put yourself on the line, you can help way more people than you think. Way more people than you think, man. And people are taking notes. People are
Yeah.
watching. People love seeing someone do good and believe in themselves.
Hmm.
Especially
Fucking hell.
someone especially someone who's like an elephant on like a tricycle. You know, like when you go to the carnival, you expect to see an elephant, but you don't expect to see an elephant riding a tricycle. You know? And like that's like how I like to view my life. Like I'm the man that wasn't
Hmm.
supposed to make it out. But the fact that like I've made it out, people are like, holy shit, that's really entertaining. And like I think that if I can do it if he did it. And that's all that I want, man, is just to show people that you can make it out. You can make this life whatever it is that you want. If you believe it to be so. You know, like there's a book, Prometheus Rising, and in the book it says, what the thinker thinks the prover proves.
Hmm.
If you believe that you can do something, you're going to do something. But if you don't believe that you can do something, you're not going to do something. It's like if life was a genie and the genie says to you, whatever it is that you want, your wish is my command. Just tell me what it is that you want. You know, like asking it is given. And you know, you're speaking to this genie. You're like, okay, like I want to be insecure. I want to never gain weight. I'm not going to get strong. I can't do this. I can't do that. The genie goes, oh, okay, your wish is my command. Boom. You're not going to be able to do that. Or you can be a different man and say, I'm going to be a successful entrepreneur.
Hmm.
I'm going to be a successful business owner.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit 305 on bench. I'm going to hit 315 on
Yeah.
bench. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to be successful. Okay, boom. The genie's like, your wish is my command.
Hmm.
So at all times, we just have to continue to control the mental dialogue and not let the
Yeah.
thoughts prolong longer than they should.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the proudest moment in your life? What's the thing that you're proud of? Like, what's a moment where you were really proud of yourself and you made an good impression in yourself?
I would say recently,
Hmm.
when I was in Iceland, I was walking the streets by myself and I was just observing where I was and what I was doing. And it hit me in that moment. I realized that I'm doing everything that I have always dreamt of. Like I'm in a different country, traveling the world with my best friends, having the time of my life, getting paid to do so. And
Hmm.
it's different.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling when you actually experience something for the first time. Like that was the first time it was I actually felt it in the moment. Like I've always
Yeah.
known that I'm capable of doing whatever it is that I want to do. But when you are doing it, it's such a different feeling. So I'd say that moment in Iceland when it hit me was one of the proudest moments that I've ever had in my life. But also, and this isn't even about me, bro, like my younger brother made a post on his Instagram, like sharing his weight loss journey.
Hmm.
And that was completely inspired by me. So I would say that that might even be
Fucking
more
hell.
proud than like that might even be higher up. That's probably one of the proudest moments of my life, bro. Is like seeing my younger brother have the confidence to post on Instagram where all of his friends see him his weight loss journey. He lost like 40 pounds, bro, in a year, and he looks
Yeah.
absolutely incredible.
Me
And I
too.
know how
Yeah.
much that takes, bro. Especially as
Yeah.
someone who's a freshman in high school, like you have to
Hmm.
have a lot of confidence to put yourself out there and do that, bro.
Hmm.
But like, and the caption was like, if you want to do something, like go for it. Like you can do anything you set your mind to. And I'm just like, holy shit, man! Like, like I fucking like I molded this kid. I shaped him. Uh yeah, I say that. How about yourself?
Hmm. I want to say that just I relate to that because like yeah, 40 pounds. That's exact weight that I was in January. I was like 190, and then I cut down to 150 in July. So like 40 pounds too. And I'm like 17. He's like a freshman. That means he's like
Yeah,
15, 16, something like that.
it's a huge difference, bro. It's a huge
Yeah,
difference.
I felt it amazingly like after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have an older brother too. He's like 6 years older than me. And he
Okay.
got me into the gym too when I was 15.
Nice. Nice.
So
Yeah,
yeah, two and a
that's
half
like
years
that's how
ago.
I am with my younger brother. I
Yeah.
push him as hard as I possibly can at all times, and I think that's very important.
That's amazing, man. So, do you have haters?
I'm sure.
What did they say?
Beats me, bro. Beats me. I'm not concerned. I
hmm.
don't even I don't even like look. I don't search for negativity, bro. So like if someone says something, I really just block it out. I don't let it get to me. I don't let it stay there. I mean, like I'm sure that I have haters. I'm sure that there's people that are envious, but they really shouldn't be because they can do everything that I'm doing.
Hmm. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
want.
I don't know, man. Like there's like I like to take the stoic approach to that because
Hmm.
I just don't think that there's a point in like saying like yeah, oh yeah, I have haters, like people are gonna hate on me because I'm doing better than them. It's like no, dude, like we're
Huh.
all the same person. We're all equal. I'm like no one is no better than anyone. We're all the same person. We're
Hmm.
all connected. We're all the same. So like I,
Well,
I
I kind of have to disagree with you on that. That nobody's better than anybody else. I'm gonna highly disagree on that. I believe that the person who is trying his best to take care of the people around him, taking care of his looks, his appearance, his health, trying to make this world a better place is a much better person in general in all areas of life than the person who sits on Instagram all day, tries to drag people down with him, jerks off, is rude to his parents, and just is just basically a leech on society against the person that is improving himself and improving the people around him. I believe that person has all the right to call himself better than the second person, and with any without any remorse. I'd call
But
that person a better person.
what if that person's destiny in their life is to be that person who plays that role? And what if they're just playing that role very well?
Hmm. I've never thought about it that way.
Like
Like,
I believe that we all I believe that we all are doing the best that we can. Obviously there's people that are doing things incorrectly that I don't morally stand by, of course,
yeah.
bro. But like what if the person who is working at McDonald's
Mm.
for their entire life was meant to work at McDonald's for their entire
Yeah.
life and they're genuinely happy doing it? What if the person but again, and this gets very tricky because then people will say something like, "Oh, but what about the murderer?" You know? And it's like, "Well,
Mm.
shit, I don't really have a response to that." But like genuinely, like I don't know, like I feel like we are put on this earth to honestly do a specific thing, whether it's good or bad. And what if we're all just playing our role the best of our ability? And again,
mm.
like that's like why I say I don't have any enemies, because like same thing with my father. Like I could hate him for not being in my life, but what if his duty on this earth was to not be in my life during my childhood to allow me to be the successful man that I'm becoming right now?
I get
And
it.
you know, like what if that, like what if he did an absolutely amazing job at that allowed me to be where I am and live this life
Mm.
the way that
You,
I'm living it? But
I,
of course, I hear you, bro. I completely agree. At the same time, though, like the person doom
I,
scrolling on Instagram, sending hate, bro. I hear you.
I have to say one thing because I feel like this is just taking responsibility away because you have to realize that I don't know if you believe in God or not, but
Of
I
course,
highly
I'm a man
believe
of God.
that God limited his power by giving us free will. So that means if I decide to go and rape a 7-year-old girl, that I cannot use the excuse God made me do it or I was put on this earth to serve a role. No, I'm a fucking dickhead and I'm a loser. And that was my own decision and my fault and I'm a leech on society. I cannot let the responsibility be taken away because I have free will. If I
Of
decide to
course,
punch a
of
10-year-old
course.
kid, that's my free will. That's not my role in society. That's not you need bullies, you need people like this. I'm not serving a role. If I
Of
punch a
course,
10-year-old kid, I'm a dickhead.
I agree. I agree. I agree that that person is a dickhead.
Mm.
But also, I see things differently now, bro. Especially as I get
Hmm.
older, and especially like being around like monks, like just they have a lot of love and compassion for every single person, no matter what that person gone through or did,
Hmm.
and so did Jesus. So
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree with you as well. I just
yeah,
don't think that.
there's ways that you can agree to
Yeah,
disagree, and I
yeah,
obviously and you know I'm in agreement of what you said and what
mm,
you were saying. I just am saying this from a more empathetic, compassionate
mm,
approach, which I think can
yeah,
benefit one's way of living, is all that I'm
mm,
saying.
yeah. I just believe that people should take responsibility for their actions and not
I
blame
agree.
it
One
on.
one hundred one
Yeah.
hundred percent, bro.
Mm.
100%. I definitely agree with that.
I absolutely hate the when atheists say, "Well, why did God let Hitler kill so many people?" You
Dude,
cannot blame God for that because he decided to come in his human form and limit his power by giving us free will.
yeah. They're just ignorant, bro.
Yeah.
It's not even worth like in engaging with. Seriously, it's that's a whole nother conversation, bro. That like I could go down the rabbit hole, but I don't have enough time to go down that rabbit hole. But
Mm.
but
I
yeah,
want I want to ask you, what's your dream?
my dream, man. My dream is to just.
I didn't hear you. Say that again. Um,
Oh, am
yeah,
I good?
yeah.
Oh no, I was just saying that like I don't like to overcomplicate this question. Like
Mm,
my dream is just to make people happy, make people feel better,
mm,
make people smile, make people laugh. Like
mm,
if I go down as someone that was always there for someone when they needed him, if I go down as someone that
mm,
always could provide a laugh, always could provide a smile, always could provide a hug.
mm.
That's what I want to go down as, bro. I mean, obviously, like I have all these materialistic goals, dreams, desires, but like that's not really like when it's all said and done, that's not what I want to be known for, bro. I don't want to know. I don't want to be known for how many cars I have or how much money I have in my
Yep,
bank. I want to be known for the amount of lives that I was able to positively impact. Straight up.
yep.
That's what I care about, bro. That's what matters to me at my core.
That's amazing. I want to get in some rapid fire questions before we wrap up.
Yeah, sure. I got like 5 more minutes.
Okay.
I'm on 3%. Let's send it. I'll send it till my
Oh
phone
shit.
dies.
Okay, okay. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Ooh. Love, don't hate.
What's the worst advice you've ever received?
Hate, don't love.
Is reading a waste of time?
No, absolutely not.
Do you have a favorite quote? I didn't hear you.
Damn, I have so many. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I have a saying that I say a lot. It's called "Passion goes places." That's been like my saying for like 6 years. Passion goes
mm.
places.
How do you want to die?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. It's inevitable,
Mm,
but um, I want to die healthy, happy, and whole. I'll leave it
describe
there.
describe yourself in 2 words.
Passionate and enthusiastic.
And lastly, what advice would you give to your 17-year-old self?
Don't stop.
Mm,
Just keep fucking going. Whatever it is that you want to
mm,
do, you're more than capable of doing it if you just fucking don't stop.
mm. That's amazing, man. So what's next for Kyle Massey?
Just continuing to level up in every aspect of my life.
Mm,
The big play right now is to take social media to a much higher level.
mhm.
And once I'm able to do that, then capitalize on YouTube because my big
Yep.
goal is YouTube. I fucking love YouTube, man. I really
Mhm.
just want to travel the world, make the best YouTube videos, and just meet the
Yeah.
coolest people.
That's
Straight up, bro.
amazing.
But yeah, you can see me growing the aesthetic mind and body coaching business that I have. You'll see me stepping on stage this summer. I'll be competing. You can see me probably in a different country in 2025. You can see me starting a podcast in 2025. You
Mm,
can see a lot of stuff, but I'll let the actions talk for themselves and
yeah.
not the words because a lot of people like to talk and not do the work. So
Yeah. So where can people find you?
people can find me on all social media platforms at Kyle Massey underscore. I'm very active on Instagram right now. I'm very active on Twitter. I love Twitter. Twitter's like just a a, a journal of my thoughts, and I'm not afraid to share them. So if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I'm very active on there at Kyle Massey underscore. But I'd say the most active app that I have right now is Instagram, just because I feel like it's the most personable. So yeah, you guys can find me at Kyle Massey underscore on all social media platforms. And if you guys ever want to reach out or you have a question, please ask me a question. I'm an open book. No matter how many followers that I get, I will always make time for people. Always, always, always. If you need someone to talk to, if you need to hop on a call, if you have a question that like you really don't feel comfortable asking someone else, like I'm an open book. Anything stays between us, and if there's any way that I can help anyone that's watching this video, please reach out because that's just all that I want to do in this life, man.
That was an amazing 2 hour long conversation. I enjoyed that to the fullest.
Yeah, I
Kyle, thanks so
appreciate you,
much
bro.
for taking the time of your day for this. Guys, thanks
Dude,
for watching till the end. I'll see you all on the next one.
peace.